I think one of the reasons why people don't take up responsibility, especially younger people don't take up responsibility to mend their family unit, is because they're afraid of the responsibility that comes with it. Because
you can't run away from it either.
yeah, what I mean by that is you do a nice thing for someone and you do a nice thing for your parents and your grandparents, and you ritualize meeting for lunch every week, and you don't realize that that compounds. Sometimes that stands against your detached, free spirit, wandering nature. And as a result, you can just say in the middle, fuck it, I don't want to do it anymore. And all of that crumbles. On the other hand, parents and grandparents do a much better job. And you almost wish you were like them, but you realize, I don't have to. But I always wonder, if we as young people did it, we could actually provide a lot more to the family unit than our parents and grandparents, because we have youth, energy, and make them feel secure in their lives when they start feeling scared, or when mortality is near, for example.
Tenderness. What we are missing today is tenderness, tender hearts, tender touch. Youth has become very aggressive mentally, physically, emotionally. And we should not be selective about whom shall I be tender, my mother, my father, my girlfriend, my boyfriend, my neighbor, no. To everything, even to pick up a glass. Pick it up with a lot of tenderness. Drink it, water with tenderness, softness.
But do you not think tenderness is punished harshly in society? That it's almost like
there is nothing, there is nothing strong, no stronger force than tenderness. Subtle force. Think of ice and water. Water melts and breaks the rocks, boulders, little by little, little by little. Time it takes, but it works 100%. Someone can break your heart, it's all right. You are very tender towards her, perhaps. But whose fault it is? When the heart is broken, the heart of a tender person will never be broken, because the heart itself is so tender, nothing can break it. Only when it is rocky, it gets broken.
What do you say to people who still have a difficult time trusting? And specifically, if I were to sort of recontextualize my question, it's great to be tender when you're older. It's great to be tender when you're like a Mother Teresa-esque figure. But maybe for young men, it's perhaps best served to be a little bit cutthroat to get what you want and protect what is your own. Because I've often found in my own limited experience of life that tenderness is often taken advantage of. That if you're nice and loving to everyone, it's often confused as being naive, and people walk all over you, particularly in the world of business.
I've also done business for more than 30 years in pharmacy business. I didn't see any disadvantage of being tender. Many a times, there will be patients who would come up and say, "Oh, doc, I would like to take so much of medicine, but I don't have money to pay." And this is a stranger coming to you, and maybe the bill rises to about $2,300, $2,400, right? Most people pay, some will not pay. Okay. Girlfriends, boyfriends. Oh, I loved that man so much. He ditched me. Then she complains again after 2 years. Oh, I gave all my heart, I did everything I could. He just... Now time has come, I close my heart. Whom are you punishing? If the river starts thinking, I stop flowing so that I don't get invested into all these things around surrounding me, then she will never reach the ocean. I don't want to flow. I will not let my love flow from my heart. People might take advantage of. Then your flow of love will be stagnated. You become hard. The other is not going to suffer. You will suffer. So trust is not for the sake of others. Trust is for the sake of myself. I preserve myself.
But how do you reverse a lifetime of jadedness?
It's okay. They don't care. People of tender hearts and trusting attitude, they don't worry about it. They are higher on a pedestal. Okay, let it be. Let it be. You are richer. You have nothing to lose. They have lost you. The company of a wise person or the company of a holy person whom they could have trusted, they could not. That is their failure.
Let me ask you something else about uncomfortable feelings. Earlier I mentioned that, hey, when I look into my heart, I don't see a divine light. I see all kinds of malice and prejudice and all of that. In Jungian psychology, for example, Carl Jung talks about how there is a necessity for honoring some of these feelings because they show you a part of you that you often repress to be nice to people so that you can keep believing that you're a good person. But then when you look at your quote-unquote shadow, you see that there is malice and evil and all of that. Do you think a lifetime of meditation can eventually do away with these feelings? And do you yourself find yourself having these feelings? And when they come up, what do you do?
Okay. Meditation in itself cannot do it. Meditation, in fact, if you are a thief, can make you a better thief. If you have murderous tendencies, you can become a great murderer. No one can catch you. You heard the term premeditated murder?
Yes.
So you see how premeditated murder is so complex. Meditative mind can create a lot of complexities. So only meditation is not going to solve the problem. Meditative mind becomes very sharp. Sharp knife can cut vegetables at the same time if it has knowing tendencies, known in itself, consciousness in knife, to do wicked things. You can't stop it either. It depends on the person who handles that knife. One who handles the mind, meditative mind. Should I use this for positive things or the negative things? When I have Porsche 300, 500 horsepower, right? And meditation gives you so much of power, 500 horsepower, great. But what if it is stuck in mud? You can't ride it. Being stuck in the mud means you are stuck with your intentions, bad intentions. You are stuck with bad qualities in you. You have compromised yourself so much that you have created a muddy life inside you, so filthy. A meditative mind, if rightly guided, can clean all these tendencies. little by little, and purify the mind. Pure mind cannot conceive of murder, cannot conceive of hate, cannot conceive of prejudice.
But it does take practice, right?
Yeah. So we have to practice both meditation, at the same time, some method that can purify ourselves. And that we do teach in a heartfulness way. In the evening, we try to get rid of all the negative that we have collected during daytime. Right? Like he was giving you the example of 42nd Street. I go to work, passing 42nd Street, coming back home, 42nd Street again, looking all those naked girls hanging in the windows, doing all those rope dances. Do you think you remain unaffected by all those? No. It will affect your psyche so much. So I used to use this method of cleaning, that all complexities and impurities that has been accumulated in my mind are going away from my system, and I would sit with this determination, and I would purify myself. And then later on, after a few encounters like that, you don't bother with it. It's okay, they are doing their job, you're doing your job.
Yeah, that's particularly true for New York, because you encounter so many weird people that after a while, if you live there long enough, you just walk right past them. You also mentioned epigenetics in your book, and environment, and in general, how people, where they're born, what their mother's emotional state is, how that influences who they eventually become. If someone lives in a slum currently, or they live in a harsh circumstance, and they really can't get out of their environment, what can they do to make sure that they remain pure? Because I don't think people usually give importance to where they live. And they don't even, for example, they just get used to, like there's this famous line, I forget the author's name, where a big fish goes to two small fish, and he's like, "Hey guys, how's the water?" They're like, "What water?" Because they don't know.
That is so true. It's a tough situation actually, where you don't know. You have been conditioned by your environment so much, you don't know what the other side looks like. And if at all you look at the other side, you look at it with envy, hatred, anger, then there is very little one can do. See? The example that I gave in this book about mothers living in ghettos, the example is from the book Biology of Belief by Dr. Lipton.
Bruce Lipton, right?
Bruce Lipton, right. And he did a wonderful study on mothers to be who were living in ghetto, tough neighborhood, lot of violence, where husband comes home and keeps the gun under his pillow and goes to sleep. Mother is always waiting, mother to be, and the kind of emotions she goes through. Right? And when she is pregnant, and with those thoughts in mind, when he's going to come, how it will be like, and sometimes he gets punched around also. So the sympathetic nervous system is always on the go, always active, and when that happens, the stress hormones are injected, released into your stream, goes into your bloodstream, and it crosses your placenta barrier and enters the embryo. Embryo has nothing to do with the external environment, yet gets affected because of mother's blood system. Now what happens because of the sympathetic response? The blood circulation will be more in the limbs at the cost of visceral organ. Blood will flow more in the arms and legs. It is diverted from frontal brain, right? And lungs, spleen, liver, digestive system. your reproductive organs. So, blood, when it is diverted, the other visceral organs, they get less of it. So imagine when such is the case with embryo receiving less blood in the frontal cortex, for example. One example we take. The less blood supply in the frontal cortex means less development of the frontal brain. So they don't develop a good thinking ability when they mature. So it's the biggest problem. Also because it is moving away from the GI tract, digestive problems also are inherited somehow in there because of the situation in life. The environment thus impacts the fetus inside and changes the biology. Per contrast, children being brought up in a healthier environment, they'll have a very well developed frontal cortex, well adjusted system. And that is also the impact of the environment. It's a tragedy that, in slums and ghettos where children are, have to grow, it's very unfortunate. How to get out of that situation is very, 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 very difficult. The scars will always be there. We cannot